Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, we're going to go ahead and do a recap video on two trades that I have closed over the last 2 days. One of them being a winner and another one being a loser. The first one is my AMD puts. Did some analysis in my Sunday video on this trade. Really nice pattern, head and shoulders, bearish formation, and took some profits on those put options. So we'll go over that one. And the second one is a Roku loser. So did some analysis on Roku, pulled back off earnings, but there were two things that really hurt this trade. There was an important moving average that caused some resistance to the upside, and some news that came out today, which I really do not think helped Roku at all, with some NASDAQ weakness, with that moving average in the way, and this news that came out, we went ahead and we took a loss on Roku. So I like to learn from my losers, and that is why I'm going to go ahead and review it in today's video. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into this. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and press that bell notification so that you guys know every single time that I post. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. On your screen, you're going to be looking at the hourly chart on AMD. This is the time frame that I use to find this trade. This is the only thing that I was really looking at to do this analysis and to find my entry here. So here on AMD, you guys can see we've been holding that 20 SMA. We've talked about this. Every single time it came back to it all of last week, we bounced very nicely. On Thursday, right here, was the day that this trend started to change. We moved down, we broke that SMA. Friday, we tried to push back higher, and we put in a very nice lower high. So when I saw that lower high on Friday, that was my indicator to go ahead and try to take some puts and swing them into the next week. And that was yesterday, and that is when I took my profit. So this was the first thing I was looking at, this downtrend that started to form on Friday. This was the first clear level that I was watching. I was watching the 20 SMA crack. We cracked that on Thursday. After I saw Thursday close this way, I said, okay, let me give this one more day. Let me see if this trend continues. It's definitely clear that the trend has started to change. It broke the 20 SMA, so let me see if I can try to play this downside on a stock that has ran up almost 37% in less than 4 or 5 days. Not typical of AMD. I figured there would be some downside here, and there definitely has been. So Thursday was that first time that I was interested. Friday, when we made that lower high, that was my entry point. When we saw that lower high form, we started the downtrend, and not only that, we started this nice little head and shoulders formation, right shoulder, left shoulder, and the head. And when I saw that, I went ahead and got in. So you guys know, you've seen this in my videos before. Right here, this was when I got in on the 6th of August, took some AMD 105 puts. Next week expiration, swinging into next week. And I believe today is the first lower high, an hourly chart, head and shoulders formation. So that was the play. That's when we got in on Friday, and you can see that we just continued to sort of slip lower throughout the last 2 days. We've held this downtrend very nicely, and now instead of holding above the 20 SMA, you guys will notice that we are now holding below the 20 SMA. So if I delete these SMAs real quick to make this a little bit more clear, you can see, look at that blue line, and you can see now we are holding below the 20 SMA. So now that looks very bearish, and every time we try to push above it, we get rejected, whereas before, every time we pushed down to it, we found support off of it. So this 20 SMA on the hourly chart has really showed a lot for AMD. So that was the play. Took some nice profits. It was a pretty small trade, but very happy with the analysis, very happy with the play. Head and shoulders forming, break of this 20 SMA. That's where we started to get interested, and I went ahead and I took profits on it yesterday. You know, if I would have held today, obviously it would be up nice. We got in around 90 cents a contract. Right now, let's go ahead and look. The 105 puts for this week. So here are the AMD 105 puts, the August 13th expiration. The high today was around $2.61. So just about a 200% gain if you took it at the top. Now, obviously, I didn't take, the full 200, but a very nice trade overall. Very happy with that. And that is just recapping AMD here for you guys here on the hourly chart. Just finding where we started to have a change in trend, and we started to have that lower high and that nice head and shoulders. So that's AMD. let's go ahead and jump into the losing trade, which was on Roku. All right, guys, so Roku, this one sort of hurts. I would have liked to see this work out, but of course with trading, it doesn't always work out. It's not always going to happen. You could be, a few days early, you could be a few weeks early, you could have the right idea, but timing is definitely very key. And I think in this situation, my timing was a little bit off. And there were definitely some things that I looked past, like a few moving averages that I should have taken a little bit more seriously. I couldn't have expected the news that came out today. That news today was about Roku not being used in some of the TCL new TVs. So the TCL announced the new Series 6 and Series 5 TVs. They are going to be using Google TV instead of Roku. Now, that's obviously not good news for Roku, not being on TCL's new TVs. You guys know Roku usually comes stock in a lot of these TVs. That platform, Roku's platform, comes on these TVs. Now, it looks like they're being replaced by Google TV. So a little bit concerning. That's not something I could have knew was coming. So that macroeconomic, that headline risk was definitely something that hurt me. But I also, I'm also aware that this 50 SMA here on the daily chart, you guys have this chart up on your screen now, which I'll show you in a second, definitely was something I could have waited for some confirmation. So let's go ahead and review this trade, go through what I could have done better, and just sort of learn from it. So here's why I took the trade in the first place, if you guys have missed, some of the analysis that I've done. So this uptrend was something that I was watching. This uptrend was looking pretty strong, in my opinion. We got a pullback off earnings right here, a little gap down on earnings, right back to this uptrend, and we got a very strong first day reaction. So if I zoom in here real quick, you'll see that the first day of this uptrend test was a very nice green day. When I saw this green day, I definitely thought that, okay, there's definitely going to be some buyers down below. I could have said to myself, that's just the first day. What does the next day happen? What happens after that? Is it going to be a continuation, or is this just a little bit of a fake out? So that could have been the first thing that I could have been a little bit more patient on. So we did have that nice first reaction on that pullback to that trend line. Now, another thing that I was watching right around that level was this previous level right around 388 to 390. So I was looking at some big time level here. You had previous resistance, which was some pretty solid support right here back in January, and then started to become support back here in July as well. So once I saw us come back to that level again, and I saw this nice positive reaction off this level, as well as the uptrend, I figured this might be a great opportunity to take some call options and see if I can play this bounce, maybe back to fill this gap. Now, of course, this is what happened. What happened is that we started to find rejection here at the 50 SMA. So if you guys see this yellow line right here, this 50 SMA looks to be like a lot of resistance. You can see these last 3 days, not including today, which is a very ugly red candle through that uptrend. But the 3 days before today, you can see these topping tails. That's not very bullish. It's not good to see, the move higher and then close lower. That means that there is a lot of resistance overhead and you're getting sold off intraday because there's a lot of sellers above. So that was something that I was starting to see and did not like as I was managing this trade. I started to see us failing this 50 SMA and starting to find a lot of resistance there around that 400 level. Now, today was what killed it, right? So we had this big red candle through this uptrend. You can see we broke the uptrend pretty nicely, and we sort of fell below this support level that I was watching as well. So NASDAQ was weak today, not the strongest day for the NASDAQ. That in itself does not help Roku. And then on top of that, with that news that came out, about a 4.5% red day on Roku, and I had to go ahead and cut this loss because at this time, I don't see my setup holding up. The technicals no longer look like what I wanted them to look like, and I just have to go ahead and take it. Usually that's how I take my losses on these trades, is when the technicals no longer look right, I take my loss. I don't set it off a certain percent. I don't set it off a certain dollar amount. I set it off the technicals. And I go into these trades with, a good risk management. So that risk management is really what's sort of keeping me in the game. I will take losses over time, of course. Everyone is going to take losses. But, I stuck to a plan. I was watching this uptrend. I was watching this support line. And as soon as I saw it break below, I had to go ahead and cut my loss. At this point, I'm thinking that Roku maybe sees a move back to this 100 SMA right here, this green line. Maybe that is where you start to find some support back down by 371. So this was my loser, guys. I tried to take this bounce. I tried to take this support bounce off this uptrend, off this previous level. Tried to see if I could get something like this, moving back up to this gap fill. But it looks like Roku wanted to move down a little more. NASDAQ has not been too strong after we got that non-farm payroll. So I definitely don't think the NASDAQ is helping me right now on this tech swing trade. That, along with that news that came out today on Roku, went ahead and costed me this trade. So this was my losing trade, guys. That's why I got into it, showing you the technical analysis as well as showing you why today I decided to get out. I still will watch this. I still will watch Roku because I think in the long term, there will be some type of support bounce that comes in here. We'll just have to see how this level reacts and how this 100 SMA reacts as well. So guys, that's about all that I have for today's video. AMD, very nice play, worked out very well with some of that tech weakness that we have seen at the start of this week. That definitely helped out my AMD puts. Now on the flip side, having that, that Roku call option, NASDAQ definitely didn't help it. Couldn't have expected that news to come out, but overall, the play was not looking fantastic before that news came out. Very hard rejection at the 50 SMA. Did not hold up after that earnings dip. I'll learn from it. I'll use my risk management to keep me in the game, and I'll come back and find another trade. The best thing that you guys can take away from any video that I make is please go into these trades with risk management. You are going to lose trades. You are going to make mistakes. You're going to get into trades that look fantastic that just don't work out. And it would really suck to be taken out of the game because you went too big into a trade that you felt confident on, that you over leveraged your account. So please, risk management before any position that you take is number one. Before you do any technical analysis, know how much you are willing to risk on a particular trade. This is not go all in, wait for, hope for the best. This is calculated risk, technical analysis, specific trades, specific entries, specific risk management. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to press that like button, subscribe to the channel for some more videos, and make sure to press that bell notification so that you guys know every single time that I post and every single time that I go live every single morning from 8 a.m. to around 8:45 a.m. With that said, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.